Hi there, I'm Cyril, and I'm here to predict Miraculous Ladybug Season 5's finale. Now, I'm more of a casual viewer of the series and needed to read a wiki to help fill in some gaps and help make this prediction. Also, my knowledge of other superhero media can be used to make this prediction as well. What I did not use were leaks. I know that they are prevalent, but A, I don't keep up with this fandom beyond basic searches, and B, I don't need them to predict what would happen. With that out of the way, we can get started. Where we last left off, Gabe is dying of his cataclysm wound. Natalie is dying of her use of a broken magical artifact. Kagami and Felix basically reveal to Marinette that they know she's Ladybug and that Gabe is Monarch. Gabe has Kagami and Adrien locked away in solitary confinement, and the Alliance ring technology is widespread. So, this is where my prediction begins. It's clear the wound from Cat Noir's cataclysm will kill Gabe very soon. Monarch needs to make one last gamble to get his wish before he dies. Since I've seen enough Super Sentai / Power Ranger shows, Monarch will use sheer numbers to do his bidding. Where will he get this army? This is where the Alliance rings come into play. Since he can transmit powers through the rings, it stands to reason that he can also transmit corruption through them as well. Perhaps this is how he bypasses Nuru's limitation to only use one akumatized person at a time. Perhaps Oriko's powers can be involved, but let's not get into specifics. Everyone with an Alliance ring is basically transformed into a minion, as if they were the Black Lantern Corps. This will make Miss Bustier's class relevant because they need to be relevant somehow despite not having any powers. Where exactly is Adrien in all this mess? Besides in solitary confinement, Adrien is currently reeling from the effects of a nightmare the akumatized Gabe put him through last episode, so he's less willing to become Cat Noir and is not part of the plot. But some of you might be saying, Cyril, isn't this a bit too anticlimactic? After all, this is Adrien's family that's driving the plot. To that I say, this is the same series which took a potshot at fans for preferring the edgier Felix from the 2D animated preview, and then proceeds to use him to drive the plot in Adrien's place. After all, Felix, not Adrien, finds out Gabe is Shadow Moth in the episode Gabriel Agrest, finds Gabe's villain lair in the season 4 finale, finds his aunt's tomb in the same finale, and then informed the audience and Marinette about the backstory of his and Adrien's family. There's plenty of precedent where Adrien is locked out of his own story, and I don't expect the finale to be any different. But let's get back to the prediction. Paris is overrun by akumatized menaces controlled by the Alliance rings. Miss Bustier's class is holding them off and finding out that process of assimilation is a thing with these monsters, and they are slowly being chipped away. We might see some cameos from the Miraculous World specials, such as the United Heroes from New York and Lady Dragon from Shanghai. Like I said earlier, go big or go home, and this is Gabe's last hurrah, so he can only go big. Adrien is defeated, captured, or removed from the plot by any means necessary. Plag subsequently takes the Cat Miraculous to Marinette since she's the Guardian. What's Marinette been doing all this time instead of fighting off Alliance ring-controlled citizens? Raiding the Agrest mansion. I'm going to say Felix told her about the secret lair. Oh, and Felix doesn't join her in this raid because he's busy fighting waves of akumatized citizens. Why he doesn't just make a Sentimonster to just freeze them in place? Because of the plot. Marinette then unifies the Cat and Ladybug Miraculouses and confronts Gabe. The two fight. The battle is over in the secret lair. Marinette soon discovers Emily's stasis pod. Gabe is on the ground, defeated by Marinette, who then tells her what his plan was to do with the Cat and Ladybug Miraculous. He was going to bring Emily back. Marinette lets her guard down, presumably to monologue about the whole equivalent exchange bit. This moment of weakness allows Gabe to take the Miraculous with his last breath. Gabe makes his wish and then dies. But he dies a winner. For Marinette and friends, this will be treated like a great victory by the narrative. For Gabe, it will be treated like a great tragedy, even though neither of these two things are particularly merited. Does Marinette tell Adrien about the whole ordeal with Gabe? No. I think the narrative will try to justify itself by saying that since Adrien's worst nightmare is being a villain, telling him that his father is a villain will only make this worse. Thus, Marinette will not tell him about Gabe being Monarch. Alternatively, she'll promise Gabe to not tell Adrien about him being Monarch. Functionally, they fill the same role in the narrative. I can see Suhan having a cameo in the end of this since he did make a cameo at the end of last season, but I don't expect him to do much at all. Another thing I do see is Marinette distributing the Miraculous to her friends, which is a logical move. The reason why Felix stole them in the first place is that Marinette created a single point of failure. Distributing the Miraculous means it's more difficult to steal them. After all, stealing from one place is easy, stealing from a dozen is hard. Because of plot-induced stupidity, or the plot in general, Lila will find the Butterfly Miraculous to become the next Hawkmoth, but she won't call herself Hawkmoth. She'll take up a name like Queen Chrysalis. I don't think the former Queen of the Changelings is currently using that name, and considering what happens to her, I'm hoping Lila meets a very similar fate. Miraculous needs a miracle because the writing so far has been awful. This is what I believe will happen, but I don't work for Zag, so I can't tell. I'm hoping I am dead wrong. I hope I get a comment section saying, yeah, this did not age well, and that Adrien's role is great and tragic, or that Lila isn't the new Hawkmoth, or that Suhan brings in the cavalry and makes a final stand that is great and epic. But those are my thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, and tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.